Lately I received a lot of questions about how to set up my Discord bot shinpuru on your own server, so I decided to create a video where I go through the setup of shinpuru on a VPS using Docker Compose step by step. We will start with creating a Discord bot account. After that we will set up the Docker Compose definition and the shinpuru configuration, following with the order of a VPS, link its address to a public domain, and then we set up the VPS and deploy shinpuru onto it. First of all, we need to create a Discord bot application which is used by the bot to connect and authenticate to the Discord API. Therefore, go to discordapp.com/developers/applications and click on New Application. Now enter a name for your bot and click Create. In the left menu, go to Bot and click on Add Bot. There you also need to enable the privileged gateway intent, server member intent, and message content intent. Finally, go to OAuth 2 and click on the button Add Redirect. Now you need to enter the https://, then the domain you want to use to expose the web interface of shinpuru, followed by /API/auth/OAuth callback. This is required later to be able to log into the web interface using OAuth 2. Now we will download Git from gitscm.com and install the Windows version, because I am using Windows for this tutorial, and based on my YouTube statistics you are assumingly on Windows as well. In case you are on Linux, make sure to install Git and an SSH client using the package manager supported by your distribution. After the installation you can now open up the program git bash, which is a bash terminal with the most useful tools available like Git and SSH. Now I will go to my downloads directory and clone shinpuru from the GitHub repository. By the way, the dev flag of the clone command in Git says that we only want to clone the last commit of the repository, which makes the download size a lot smaller, especially on large repositories. So we use this because we don't need the whole repository history. After that, I'll open the repository in an editor, which is in my case VS Code. First of all, we need to edit the Docker Compose YAML file. First of all, in the traffic configuration, you need to enter your email address for the ACME certificate process. You don't need to create any account or something like that. It's basically just for your contact information. After that, we can scroll down straight to the shinpuru service. And now you need to generate your Discord bot token and enter it here. After that, you need to enter your own Discord ID, which you can get from your Discord client. Just right click on yourself and copy your ID and then enter it here. This is just that shinpuru knows that you are the admin of this shinpuru instance and that you automatically receive all permissions to do everything you need to do as the admin of this instance. After that, go to the OAuth tool page and copy the client ID as well as the client secret, which are later required so that users can log in with their Discord accounts to the web interface. After that, we head to the web server configuration, and here you need to enter an API token key, which is a random key to assign the API tokens with which users can generate. And because these tokens are basically lasting forever, we need a signing key which is constant, so just go to any password generation page and spit out a long enough key which you can enter here. After that, you now need to enter the full URL under which the web interface will be available through the browser. Now you need to enter an hCAPTCHA side key and secret key, which you can gather from hcaptcha.com by just logging in with your Google account, for example, which is required to validate users later in the web interface. Therefore, I am currently just using the default key and secret key, which you should not use for your instance when you make it public, but which you can use for testing or something like that. Now you need to enter basic privacy contact information so that users can contact you if they have a problem or want their data removed from your database. And keep in mind, if you want to make your instance publicly available, you also need to enter here an own notice URL for your privacy notice. You cannot use the privacy notice which comes with the repository because it is only valid for the instance of shinpuru I am hosting. Now finally, you need to enter the domain name under which your server is available for the reverse proxy so that it can route the incoming requests to the shinpuru instance. Now, of course, we need a server. You can use any hosting service of your desire, but make sure they do support Docker hosting. For my example, I will get a VPS at hetzner.com, because you only need to pay for the time you are actually using the server, and the instances of the servers are usually up in a couple of seconds. By the way, check the link in the video descriptions. With it you can get 20 euros of credit, as well as I'm receiving 10 euros of credit when you are using my link. It's a web link, so if you want to use it to support me, you get also free money, so yeah, if you want to use Hetzner for this, feel free to do so. But before we can start, we need to generate an SSH key pair for logging into our VPS. Therefore, we open up our git bash again and use the command SSH-keygen. Now we can cat the file .sh/id_rsr.pub, which is in your home directory, which is our public key. We copy the console output to our clipboard and then go back to Hetzner's page. There we go to security and add a new SSH key, which we've just copied to our clipboard. I just need to rename mine here real quick, because I already have a key which has the same name. Now we can head to servers and create our server. I will use a VPS with Debian, 2 cores and 4 GB of RAM, which should be plenty for this job. Also, we need to add our created security key so that we can log in with it later on. And finally, we give it a descriptive name. After a few seconds, the VPS goes live and we can copy the IPv4 address of the server. Now we head to the page where you can manage your DNS entries for your web domain. If you don't have a domain already, I'll put a link in the description how you can get one. In my case, I'm using Gezek to manage my name server entries. Simply create an A entry which links to the IP address of the VPS. Depending on your chosen DNS server and name server service, it may take a couple of minutes until the changes apply. Now we can open up our git bash and use the SSH command to connect to our VPS using our set domain name. Because we uploaded our security key to our server, we don't need to enter a password on login. Now we update our packages using apt-update and apt-upgrade. You might need to install curl now if it isn't already installed. We can simply use the provided setup script from get.docker.com by piping it into bash to set up Docker for our environment. After that, we need to install Docker Compose using apt install Docker Compose. In later versions of Docker, this is included in the Docker CLI, but because the Debian bundle is still on Docker Compose version 1 instead of version 2, this needs to be installed separately for now. For now, I will skip diving deeper into the Linux server management at this point, but feel free to do any measures you want to do at this point, like creating a service account or whatever else. The only thing we will do now is creating a Docker directory, which we will use for the Docker Compose config and the bound Docker volumes. Now we can go back to VS Code where we opened our Docker Compose YAML. Luckily, VS Code can also open up a git bash as a terminal, so we do so now. After that, we can push our Docker Compose configuration to the server using the scp command. Now, back on the server, we can see our uploaded file. Now we simply do a docker-compose up-d. As you can see, there was an issue with the key we've specified in the environment variables. The issue is that we use a $sign in the key, which is also there to mark variables, and these variables don't exist because we didn't define them. I'll just remove it real quick, re-upload the config, and we run Docker Compose up. Now all required images are downloaded and set up. After that, we can check the status of our services with Docker Compose ps. With Docker Compose logs -f shinpuru, we can now take a look in the logs of the shinpuru service. Finally, we can navigate to the domain of our server in the browser to open up the web interface. Currently, there is a little bug which shows up when you do not share any common servers with shinpuru after a fresh installation. So now we can simply add shinpuru to our Discord server using the embedded invite link. So, congratulations, you are now ready to go and set up shinpuru as you like, either via the web interface or using the / commands provided on your guild.